Before we start, just a gentle reminder, just a little nudge, a push! I mean a gentle nudge. The second episode in our Caravan of Garbage Star Wars trilogy series is now up, and it explores the first Star Wars TV series, Droids, and the weird parallels it has to the new trilogy. What's that about? Find out in that new episode that I just mentioned. Also, this video is brought to you by Squarespace. Build a good website if you want by using the Squarespace. Okay, on with the video. Director James Gunn has been keeping things pretty close to his chest regarding Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Shooting down rumors left and right. Like Shooter. Remember that one? Mark Wahlberg played Bobby Lee Swagger. But they should have just called him Johnny Shooter, because it sounds less dumb. Anyway, as is the usual with these trailer releases, I'm going to break down all the Easter eggs and references and things potentially missed. That includes the brand new soundtrack, Marvel's focus on giving as little away as possible, what Baby Groot is about, who the villain's going to end up being, plus at the end I want to talk about some brand new characters and Guardians members that we'll be seeing, not all of which appear in this trailer. And then at the end, Loot Crate. I'm going to be giving one away, and maybe you'll be that lucky person. But statistically, I'm sorry to tell you, probably not. Okay, it's been confirmed that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is set a couple of months after the conclusion of the first film. As a result of the team's actions, they've now achieved this intergalactic level of fame, and it's because of this Star-Lord is acting more responsible and trying to do better in general. The monster that we see at the beginning of the trailer also appears towards the beginning of the film, and it's called an Abelisk. It's this multi-dimensional squid monster that it looks like Drax ends up inside of, and the team have actually been hired to defeat, which again, presumably comes off the back of their success in the last film. Now, listening to what James Gunn has said, I think most of what we see from this trailer is from the first half of the film, or maybe even less. He's talked about how it's hard not to spoil things in trailers because people, desperate people with lives of no purpose, he didn't say that, those weren't his words, those are my words. But these people, they pore over every frame, dissecting clues. So he deliberated about what to include as to not spoil the movie, and despite what we already know, like how Ego the Living Planet is Star-Lord's father, which we will be getting to, there's still going to be some pretty big reveals. Just quickly though, on the first teaser trailer, he mentioned that there was another version of that which was more upbeat and tested better, but they ended up going with the one that they did because it's a better representation of the final film, despite not being the popular choice. A massive part of the first film, as you probably know, was the soundtrack, and that's also going to be the case with this one. We've had a pretty strong indication concerning two songs that will be appearing. One of them is Jay and the Americans, Come a Little Bit Closer, and the other is Fleetwood Mac's The Chain, both of which played over the footage that was shown at this year's San Diego Comic-Con. In this trailer, we also get Fox on the Run by Sweet, so presumably that's going to be included also. Gunn has stated that he's felt pressure to make the soundtrack at least as good as the last one, because that one went platinum or something, but believes that this one is even better. Also, we might be getting another Bowie song, who would be the only artist to appear on both soundtracks, though he reluctantly had to cut the scene that it was in. However, he's hoping to find a way to include it in a fair and appropriate way to honor Bowie. Also, like the first film, the tracks from the album are built into the script and not just shoehorned in. Like an example of that I can't think of one. But something crap. Okay, Baby Groot. The character that's going to sell the most merchandise by a number in the billions. Maybe even outselling the Michael Rooker Yondu Minimate. Now with concerned face action. There's been some mixed messages in terms of how this version of Groot relates to the last, as he was turned into an exploded pile of twigs. But from what I've gleaned, he remembers everything that's happened to him, but his level of maturity has been stripped right back, as has his understanding of very basic concepts, which is apparent in this trailer. And even though he sounds different, that's still Vin Diesel's voice, just, tweaked a little. Well, when I say a little, I mean like quite a lot, because Vin Diesel's all family. I'm sorry, I'm not good at that. I'm not a voice guy, I'm sorry. Also, this might be a bit of a nod to the first film, Groot riding Rocket's shoulder instead of the other way around. This whole sequence appears to be the prison escape sequence that was seen in the Comic-Con footage, and it features Rocket, Groot, and Yondu, who I want to get to in a minute. I want to talk about him. Groot's wearing a tiny little Ravager suit. You can even see he's got the little logo on his arm. Maybe there was an attempt to infiltrate this Ravager facility and they were captured. Maybe even on purpose. And you can tell this whole place is Ravager because this guy who's flung to his death adorably is dressed as one. And that down there also appears to be a Ravager ship. The thing is though, it's not really clear who the villains of this movie are. And we know that the plot doesn't revolve around an Infinity Stone, and because of that, we're almost certainly not going to be getting Thanos again, which Kevin Feige pretty much confirmed. And the Ravengers, yeah, they're obviously playing a big role, but I doubt that they're the sole villains. It has been reported, though, that Elizabeth Debicki, who you don't see in this trailer, but her role has been confirmed by Gunn, she's Aisha. Her origins tie to Adam Warlock, but that's a whole thing for another, I'm not going to get into it. But he's got to be somewhere in this universe. There's been so much talk of him, and there was that cocoon. Do you remember the cocoon? Because he comes out of cocoon. But they've also implied that maybe he's not in that cocoon. I don't know. But in this version, she's the high priestess of a race of genetically perfect people called the Sovereign. She's also said to be someone not to be screwed with, and the people on her world are extraordinarily deadly. Maybe it's them that are manning this swarm of ships, a few of which we do see up close earlier on in the trailer. And maybe they also caused this ship crash. Or maybe they didn't. You know what? Guessing is hard. This would be much easier if I had a copy of the movie. But let's talk characters, starting with the new Guardians team members. You probably remember from the last film that Peter Quill ends up double-crossing Yondu and his crew for the sake of delivering an Infinity Stone to the Nova Corps. This film will be dealing with the aftermath of that, as Yondu now looks to be teaming up with the Guardians, much to the chagrin of the other Ravengers. James Gunn's brother Sean mentioned a few months back that the rest of the crew are questioning where his loyalties lie, to them or to Peter Quill, and his character Kraglin will be a key part of that. Gamora's stepsister Nebula also joins the team. Now, because they were both raised by Thanos, obviously there's going to be some psychological and physical damage there, which we got a hint at in the last movie and the Guardians prequel comic, and all that I'm sure is going to carry over into this movie. Zoe Saldana said in a recent interview that the character's going to be resentful and bitter and hateful, and we'll get a glimpse into how terrible life must have been with Thanos. James Gunn also said with the character that you never know what's up with her, so her allegiance may shift as the film progresses, or maybe she's got her own hidden agenda. Also, Karen Gillan noted that she feels lucky this time around that she doesn't have to shave her head, as the production team have now found a way around having to do that. The thing is, you didn't have to shave your head last time either. Bald caps have been in cinema for decades. Like how Gene Hackman, he refused to shave his head for Superman the movie, which also officially makes Jesse Eisenberg the balder Lex Luthor, but also the weirdest and the crappest. What are you doing? Stop it! Mantis is a new character introduced for this film, and apparently she's never really experienced social interactions, and everything she learns about dealing with people comes through the Guardians. Like a lot of Marvel characters, Mantis is green, but they've changed that for the movie, probably because there's already too much green going on. Gamora is green, Drax is kind of green, he's a dull green, plus they're probably eventually going to meet the Avengers, and they also have a green guy. That's too much green! But she was raised by Ego the Living Planet, and because I'm not really sure what version of him that we're getting, I don't know how that's going to work, but let's talk about him anyway, and wildly speculate for some reason. Firstly, Ego is the father of Peter Quill, which is a departure from the comics, and played by Kurt Russell. Planet with the giant face? Maybe not. I hope so, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. But there's clearly going to be more to him than just Kurt Russell. I mean, to me, Kurt Russell's enough. He's a very handsome man. Look at that jaw. It's crazy. He's pretty old, but how does he look so good? What's his secret? I don't know. What we do know about him, though, is that in the 70s he arrived on Earth, and he was described by Peter Quill's mother as a being of pure light.
And he was an angel. Composed out of pure light.
I really don't know what that means. It could be that he's a planet capable of producing human-sized avatars and sending them out to explore the galaxy or something. James Gunn has actually stated that we won't be seeing him in his planetary form, which to be honest would be kind of disappointing if that's the case. But I think if they're going to include Ego the Living Planet, then we're probably going to see him as a planet at some point. But whatever we end up getting, I'm excited to see what James Gunn has come up with, because this character is apparently integral to the story. So much so that Gunn wrote the script not knowing that Marvel don't actually own the rights to that character, so they had to do a trade with Fox, because there's nothing else like Ego that he could have just slotted in. Also, what the Fox gonna do with him anyway? Probably just turn him into a big cloud or some shit. Lastly, I just want to quickly talk about Stallone's character, who we don't see. An actor you probably remember from Spy Kids 3, All the Clocks, All the Time. So much time, there's too much time! Oh wait, hang on, it's not in that one, is in a different one. Look, anyways, I find it interesting that he would decide to do a comic book movie, as he's always kind of prided himself on being this, traditional old school action man who hates Orlando Bloom for some reason. But then again, he was in Bullet to the Head, which was based on a comic, but they really should have called that movie Axe Fight, there's an axe fight in this movie. And maybe people then would have seen it probably, I don't know. Anyways, he's a member of the Nova Corps. Maybe he acts as kind of a replacement for Peter Seraphinowicz's character, but then again, he's a little bit older, so I'd imagine he's more of a senior player. Or maybe not, what do I know? These videos are just, mostly speculation about movies that aren't even out yet, that attempt to answer questions that nobody asked. Why do I make them? I don't know. I just started doing it one day, and now it's got to the point where I don't think I'm allowed to stop. This is my life now. Great. Fantastic. Anyways, let's give away some bloody loot crates or whatever. But before that, I have to mention Squarespace. Because of sponsorship money. But also because when you sign up with Squarespace, you get a custom URL in addition to a collection of amazing and easy to use templates. And if you like, these amazing and easy to use templates are all of the things that I expected them to be and more. But I'd also love some consultation. Well, I got good news. There's 24/7 customer support available, which is a wonderful service that Squarespace provide. You can start your free trial today at Squarespace squarespace.com/Mr. Sunday Movies and enter offer code SUNDAY for 10% off. Okay, here's the winner of last week's Loot Crate. If you're that person, just private message me these details and it's all yours. And if you want to win this week's, just leave any comment below. Maybe on what character you're most looking forward to seeing in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, or even something from the trailer of note that you feel I've missed that's worth talking about. Also, this Monday on my podcast, The Weekly Planet, linked below, we're talking this trailer in depth, as well as a bunch of other stuff. And linked right there is a clickable link for that Star Wars video that I mentioned up top. But thanks for watching this, I appreciate it. Take care.